Welcome to our viewers from India and across the world. You're watching the Defense Dynamics. Connecting from New Delhi, I am Tanveer Singh. In this episode of Defense Dynamics, we'll get to you what is the latest on American build-up in the Middle East. This assumes importance as Israel and Iran are unwilling to step back. So, there are high chances of this ongoing conflict moving up the escalatory ladder. Who said what and how it is likely to translate on ground. With American strategic assets in place, our next segment would be on the B-52 Stratofortress. Why is US deploying them in large numbers in the Middle East? Why are B-52 bombers still flying after 70 years when they first took to skies in the 50s? Why are they so high in their deterrence value? Can they enforce peace in West Asia? And finally, where and what did India's defense minister say about India's future of self-reliance in defense technology and defense exports? And which is the most recent success story from India creating buzz in the international space of armored personnel carriers? The entire Middle East is on the edge. War clouds are looming over the horizon, with either side taking a tougher stand, threatening of serious consequences. Israel says they will target those sites that were left on 26th October attack if Iran responded. Israel, after it responded, had said that it carried out those targeted and precise strikes on Iranian military sites. Israel had retaliated almost 4 weeks after Iran launched around 180 ballistic missiles at Israel in response to killing of Iran-supported Hamas and Hezbollah leaders. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei said there would be a crushing response following Israel's airstrike on the country last week. On his X account, Khamenei posted a comment which read as, quote, "The United States of America and the Zionist regime will definitely receive a crushing response for what they do against Iran and the resistance forces," unquote. Adding to these tensions, Kamal Karrazi, a top advisor of Khamenei, told Lebanese media that if an existential threat arises, Iran will modify its nuclear doctrine. We have the capacity to build weapons and have no issue in this regard.
We stand ready to support the defense of Israel and would encourage Iran not to launch any type of retaliatory attack.
On 1st of November, that it planned to send additional ballistic missile defense destroyers, fighter squadron, tanker aircraft, and several US Air Force B-52 Stratofortress bombers to the Middle East in the coming months. The United States on Friday strengthened its presence in the Middle East as it deployed additional ballistic missile defense destroyers, fighter squadrons, tanker aircraft, and B-52 long-range strategic bombers in the region. This all to promote de-escalation through diplomacy and deterrence. The United States Department of Defense, in a statement, said, "In keeping with our commitment to the protection of US citizens and forces in the Middle East, the defense of Israel, and de-escalation through deterrence and diplomacy, the Secretary of Defense ordered the deployment of additional ballistic missile defense destroyers, fighter squadrons and tanker aircraft, and several US Air Force B-52 long-range strike bombers to the region. These forces will begin to arrive in coming months as USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group prepares to depart." These deployments build on the recent decision to deploy the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense or the THAAD missile defense system to Israel, as well as Department of Defense's sustained Amphibious Ready Group Marine Expeditionary Unit posture in the Eastern Mediterranean. These movements demonstrate the flexible nature of US global defense posture
and the US capability to deploy worldwide on short notice to meet evolving national security threats. Secretary Austin continues to make clear that should Iran, its partners or its proxies use this moment to target American personnel or interest in the region, the United States will take every measure necessary to defend the people. These statements come a day after Secretary Austin spoke with Israeli Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant to explore opportunities for de-escalation amid rising Middle East tensions. Sharing a post on X, Austin wrote, "I spoke with Israeli Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant today to discuss opportunities for regional de-escalation. I reaffirmed that the United States remain fully prepared to defend US personnel, Israel, and partners across the region against threat from Iran and Iran-backed proxies."
So why are B-52 bombers so much a death threat, as it appeared out of the statement of US officials from Department of Defense? It is going to be these bombers that are going to replace the deterrence posed by the aircraft carrier USS Lincoln as the carrier group departs the Middle East.
Old, huge and lumbering, but still packing a powerful punch. Several Boeing B-52 Stratofortress heavy bomber aircraft arrived in the Middle East on Saturday as a measure of deterrence in response to escalating tensions between Israel, a key United States ally, and Iran. The aircraft is capable of flying long distances and launching a wide array of munitions while being cost-effective to operate. Often referred to as Big Ugly Fat Fellow, these are among the oldest and the largest active duty combat aircrafts, having seen service across the globe over past 70 years and are expected to fly for another 3 decades or so. The B-52 Stratofortress strategic bombers from Minot Air Force Base arrived in the United States Central Command Area of Responsibility. Though the destination of bombers was not disclosed, the United States has over half a dozen full-fledged air bases in Kuwait, Qatar, Jordan, Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates that can host them. The US Central Command covers Middle East, Central Asian republics, Egypt, Afghanistan and Pakistan. The B-52 primarily provides United States with immediate nuclear and conventional global strike capability due to its high mission capable rate, large payload, long range persistence and ability to employ both nuclear and conventional precision standoff weapons. The B-52 continues to be a critical contributor to the US national security strategy according to the aircraft manufacturers. First flown in 1952, the aircraft began entering the United States Air Force service in 1955, with a total of 744 aircraft of different variants having been produced so far. The last airframe was rolled out in year 1962. At present, about 75 such aircrafts are said to be in service, primarily based at Minot in North Dakota and Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana, with 2nd Bomb Wing and 307th Bomb Wing as part of Air Force Global Strike Command. Powered by 8 jet engines, an unusually high number, B-52s can carry 32,000 kgs of ordnance including bombs, rockets, missiles and precision-guided weapons, as well as air-launched cruise missiles and miniature air-launched decoys. Though subsonic with a maximum speed of Mach 0.86, these aircrafts can fly up to 50,000 feet and have a range of 14,200 kilometers without aerial refueling.
The long-range nuclear-capable B-52 bomber has been repeatedly deployed to the Middle East in pointed warnings to Iran, and it is the second time this month that strategic US bombers will be used to bolster US defenses in the region. In October, B-2 stealth bombers were used to strike underground Houthi targets in Yemen in addition to the bomber aircraft beefing up US combat strength. There have been as many as 43,000 US troops in the region recently. According to United States official, the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, along with 3 Navy destroyers of the strike group, are scheduled to leave the Middle East by mid-month and return to their home port San Diego. When they depart, there will be no aircraft carrier in the Middle East for some time. Military commanders have long argued that the presence of an aircraft carrier strike group with an array of fighter jets, surveillance aircraft and heavily armed warship is significant deterrent, including against Iran. To make up for that gap, Austin is ordering deployment of other naval destroyers to the region. Those destroyers, which are capable of shooting down ballistic missiles, would come either from the Indo-Pacific region or the Europe, the US officials had said. Now let's move on to the next story of self-reliance in defense. As told by India's Defense Minister addressing the 65th Foundation Day celebrations at Indian Institute of Technology, the IIT Kanpur, Indian Defense Minister called upon the youth to indigenously develop high-end technologies which the country imports to realize Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Viksit Bharat, meaning a developed India.
Mr. Rajnath Singh, addressing a gathering at India's premier technology institute, said that the government's effort to achieve self-reliance are turning out to be highly successful, as defense exports, which were around just rupees 600 crores 10 years ago, have crossed a record number of 21,000 crores in financial year 2023-24. He exuded confidence that the progress will continue and defense exports will reach up to rupees 50,000 crores by year 2029 and 30. Highlighting the increasing role of technology in defense ecosystem across the globe amidst ongoing conflicts, the Defense Minister of India said that the use of drones, laser warfare, cyber warfare, precision-guided missiles and hypersonic missiles have transformed the warfare into a technology-oriented one. He stressed on the need to get a hold on high-end technology, urging the young ignited minds to realize their potential and contribute to country's progress. He termed the institutions like IIT Kanpur as academic engines which can provide a dynamism to India in the present competitive environment.
A recent great success story is India's Wheeled Armoured Platform, or the WhAP, produced by DRDO and Tata Advanced Systems Limited. This platform has officially outclassed China's Type 8 armored vehicle in a series of demanding trials conducted by the Moroccan Army. This performance led to a groundbreaking partnership between India and Morocco, making a pivotal moment for Indian defense exports. Tata Advanced Systems Limited inked a contract with Morocco National Defense Administration, making one of India's largest global defense deals. Under this 3-year agreement, Tata Advanced Systems Morocco in Casablanca will produce up to 100 WhAP annually, creating a substantial boost in local employment with 90 direct and 250 indirect jobs. This production initiative also sets a goal to raise indigenous content in Morocco's WhAP to 50%, showcasing Morocco's commitment to enhancing its own defense industry. But the story does not end here. DRDO has unveiled next generation version of indigenous engine and the WhAP.
The Defense Research and Development Organization, the DRDO, and the Tata Motors have showcased a significantly upgraded version of the Wheeled Armoured Platform, WhAP 8x8. The second generation vehicle boasts a refined design and incorporates advanced features for enhanced operational capabilities. A standout feature of the new WhAP is the inclusion of cutting-edge night vision equipment enabling effective operation under low light conditions. Additionally, the vehicle is equipped with robust chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear protection, or the CBRN measures. Safeguarding the crew in hazardous environment. Another notable improvement is the increased ground clearance compared to its predecessor. Interestingly, the second generation DRDO Tata WhAP shares similarities with the DRDO Mahindra WhAP design for the CBRN role, suggesting a common platform approach for specialized variants. The original wheeled armored personnel carrier has undergone rigorous testing, including high altitude and flotation trials. The second generation model is expected to build upon this foundation, offering improved performance and survivability for the Indian Army.
The Combat Vehicle Research Development Establishment, or the CBRDE, in collaboration with Ashok Leyland, has developed a new 600 horsepower engine which will soon be tested on the WhAP 8x8. The engine, which has undergone extensive, rigorous testing in the controlled lab environment, is now ready to be evaluated in real-world conditions on board the WhAP 8x8 platform. This marks a significant milestone in the development of indigenous defense technology for India's military vehicle program.
The WhAP 8x8 is a versatile, amphibious, wheeled armored vehicle jointly developed by the Defense Research and Development Organization and Tata Motors. It is designed to meet the mobility, firepower, and protection needs of the Indian Army. This platform can perform in diverse operational environments, including deserts, mountains, and riverine terrain. This platform is currently powered by 600 horsepower Cummins engine, which is manufactured locally at Cummins Pune facility. This engine provides WhAP with substantial mobility, enabling it to operate effectively in rough terrain. However, the newly developed engine by CBRDE and Ashok Leyland promises to be a step forward in indigenous production, thus reducing India's dependence on foreign powertrains and aligning with government's Make in India initiative. The Future Infantry Combat Vehicle Program aims to develop new family of infantry fighting vehicles for the Indian Army, replacing aging BMP series of the armored vehicles. The new 600 horsepower engine is expected to be a suitable powertrain for this platform, given the requirements of mobility, speed, and efficiency in the modern battlefield conditions. The FICV primary role will be transportation and protection of infantry troops, while also engaging in combat with its onboard weapon system. The CBRDE Ashok Leyland engine is expected to provide the necessary power for these heavy-duty operations.
With this, we come to the end of this episode of Defense Dynamics, but before I go, here is my take. Iran fears that Trump could reinstate or even expand his maximum pressure campaign, further crippling its economy and stoking domestic unrest. Additionally, Trump's close ties with Israel and support for its anti-Iran stance heightened worries about potential US-backed Israeli action against Iran's nuclear infrastructure and regional influence. The Israel-Iran conflict has intensified amid Israel's action in Gaza and Lebanon, and Iran's backing of regional proxy groups. Following Iran's missile strikes on Israeli targets, Israel launched airstrikes on Iranian military sites, marking an escalation beyond previous shadow conflicts. This has raised fears of a regional broader war, especially as Iran-backed groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, which is engaged in direct clashes with Israeli forces. Diplomatic efforts by the United States to de-escalate have been hindered by entrenched position of both the nations, prepared for sustained conflict as regional tensions continue to rise. US military intervention in the event of an Iranian strike on Israel would depend on several factors, including the scale of attack, regional stability, and US political considerations. Historically, the United States has pledged strong support for Israel, and American forces maintain a regional presence to deter Iranian aggression. If Iran's actions threaten broader US interests, such as security of regional allies or global oil markets, intervention would be more likely. Military options might include bolstering Israel's defense, deploying additional troops to the region, and conducting limited strikes rather than a full-scale intervention. See you next week with new stories and their analysis. Thank you for watching, and do post your comment on social media with hashtag DD with Tanveer. Goodbye and take care.